Good morning. It's Saturday. I'm in the office. You know what that means. The Saturday Morning Hustle Podcast. Thank you for tuning in again this weekend. We are out working the competition while they're still asleep in the office on Saturday, putting in the hustle and grind, earning it even on the weekend. And today's message is simple. It's just that. It's simple. We're keeping things simple. When in doubt, keep it simple. Some people will even tell you that the expression should be, keep it simple, stupid. Don't have to go that far, really. Don't have to insult your intelligence, of course. But if you think about, number one, you can't be successful if you don't get started. That's true. And the easiest way to get started is to focus on the simplest version of a situation, of the simplest version of a problem, of a scenario, of whatever it is that you're about to attempt. Just starting with simplicity will allow you to get started. And I find often when I don't know exactly what the outcome of something is going to be, but if I can just get started, if I can get some momentum rolling, if I can get some easy wins, if you will, then it becomes easier and easier to start actually tackling the whole of the big problem. I'm a big believer in iterations of doing something version 1, version 2, rough draft, second draft, third draft, right? And so even something as simple as grabbing a piece of paper, I'm a big fan of Post-it notes, right on the back of envelopes, anything like that, and just start jotting down ideas, just start sketching, just start rough drafting at the most rough, most simple level. Anytime you're trying to achieve anything will at the very least get you started, get you moving. And if the problem, if the situation, if the issue, if the project is more complex than that, when you stop that first simple version, that first sketch, that very first rough draft, even if you are 95% not finished and 5% complete because you started something, the simplest version, you know how much you have left, you have what the holes are, you have the opportunity to start organizing and moving from there. So no matter what happens when you make a rough draft, a sketch, a back of the envelope listing, bullet points, etc., at the very least, that is a starting place that can get you moving forward if you focus on simple. So the other issue you might have where simple is better and simple can help you is if you have a problem that seems intimidating or daunting, or you simply feel like maybe you absolutely cannot handle the situation. If it is overwhelming, if it's something that's really holding you down and is intimidating you to start, again, by focusing on the simplest aspect, by answering the simplest question, by starting at step one, at the very least, you can get started, you can address it, and you can begin to understand what it will take in order to take it on, and whether or not it is something that you can achieve or not, or if it's something that you're going to have outside help or something of that nature. But keeping it simple will allow you to do what you can until it's time for you to bring in someone else or have some expertise or hand it off to someone else, whatever the situation arises. So that's another example of when simple can be highly effective. Now, simplicity sometimes is mistaken for not complete, or for simple being basic in a very poor way, as in you just did the first version and stopped. And I mentioned earlier about doing iterations, first and second and third versions, etc., right? And actually the ultimate simplicity, the ultimate minimalism, the ultimate in design where you look at something and go, man, that is very, very minimal, but it's beautiful, but it's excellent, but it functions. It does all the things you would expect from design at a minimal state. That's actually really hard. Simple is really hard to do really well. Now, it's not hard to do something at begin and stop. But if you are simple because you don't know what to do next, it will reflect. People will see it in your work, in your end product, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. It will not be effective if you say, keep it simple and then not continue through the investigation process, finding things that could add to or could benefit the situation. If you go through that process and none of it is adding, none of it's beneficial, none of it's necessary, that's when you get to stop and keep things simple. Just get the basics, the minimal amount. That's exactly what you need. That works. And then when people see that, they will make that connection that you didn't just stop, but you investigated the process and kept it simple on purpose. And so good design that is simple on purpose will translate as complete, even if it is very, very simple. And anyone who knows anything about how to get things done, how to design, how to solve problems, how to create, will understand that simple design, simple outcomes are beautiful because you work through all the possibilities and came back to the thing just most effective and least amount of fluff and flash and bells and whistles just for the sake of bells and whistles. So keeping it simple is very elegant. It is very high design. It is very thoughtful in the process, as long as you don't miss something in your process. So be thorough, but be simple. Do exactly what you need to, and then stop. But make sure, investigate, continue to ask the questions, continue to look at options, continue to look at variations. And if you keep coming back to the simplest version after you've investigated all of the potential, the simplest version is the answer. And now you just have to make sure it is refined enough in its simplicity. That seems like an oxymoron, so I'll explain it. Refined enough in its simplicity that the exact thing that you need to solve the problem, to convey the message, to do the thing it needs to do, simple, clean, elegant, if that's what you're trying to do, if that's what the audience for that is as well, that they will receive it the way it's intended, if you can mate all of those things up, then you have the opportunity to present something simple and elegant and clean and beautiful. If it needs to be more than that because the end user, because the audience, because of the use of the product or service or visual idea, etc., needs more, then provide more. If it doesn't, if you can convey the message in the simplest term possible, A, the least amount of work, B, the quickest way to actually communicate or create the outcome that you're looking for, whatever your product or service is providing. And in C, you have room to expand. You have room to do something different. You have room and space and the potential to do version 2 and version 3, version 4 based on potential feedback that you get from the end users. So keeping it simple actually allows you for options in the future. Again, if you've actually investigated all the potential possibilities and the simplest version is the best version, the most functional, and can communicate itself without need of something else. So in these scenarios, simple is best. So use simple to get started. Use simple to achieve something you don't think is achievable or is keeping you from engaging in it because it's intimidating or overwhelming or otherwise. And then use simplicity to focus on the function or the communication of what it is you're trying to do. And if you can get your point across in 5 bullet points instead of 3 paragraphs, that simplicity will bring value to the situation. If you need 5 paragraphs, then by all means do the 5 paragraphs and figure out how to simplify in another way. So keeping simple in your back of your mind, keep it in your process, understanding when to stop and when to continue is a true sign of expertise and someone's dedication to achieving the best outcome they can. And in most cases, simple is the best answer. So that's my advice for you today. I appreciate you guys tuning in to the Saturday Morning Hustle podcast every weekend. I truly appreciate it. I would also truly appreciate, make sure you hit the subscribe button, that you leave a comment, that you leave a review, hit the thumbs up, hit the star, hit the heart emoji, whatever it is, and tell a friend, share on social media, engage me, ask questions, ask me to go deeper if I've been too simple with you today, and let me know if there's something you want me to discuss, think about, talk about, etc. on the Saturday Morning Hustle. I appreciate you tuning in this weekend. Now go out there, hustle, grind, outwork the competition while they're still sleeping. Have a great weekend. Be productive.